Welcome back to today's explainer. So our goal today is to dive right in and demystify something that is literally always making headlines, yet honestly is still pretty widely misunderstood. We're talking about how we actually bridge the gap to access digital currencies. We're going to break down the complex infrastructure of the digital financial world and make the underlying mechanics absolutely crystal clear.
Look, you see the prices flashing across your screen all day. You already get the macroeconomic arguments for decentralized money, but practically speaking, how do you actually acquire Bitcoin or Ethereum? While you might totally grasp what crypto is, the actual underlying infrastructure of getting your hands on it can still feel kind of opaque, especially when you compare it to the well-worn paths of traditional equity markets. We're moving away from traditional brokerages here, and that shift requires a completely new gateway. To give you total confidence in how this new system operates, here is a quick roadmap of what we're covering. We'll start with number 1, the digital currency gateway. Then 2, anatomy of an exchange. 3, 6 steps to trading. 4, the power of mobile apps. And finally, 5, weighing risks and rewards. You know exactly what to expect, so let's jump in.
Okay, let's dive into this with our first major concept. Section 1, the digital currency gateway, bridging the gap between traditional and digital finance.
And this brilliantly illustrates the core idea. If you've ever traveled internationally, you're already deeply familiar with the friction of a traditional marketplace. You know the drill. You go to an airport kiosk, wait in a long line, deal with banker's hours, hand over your physical dollars, pay a pretty steep physical premium, and swap them for euros. Well, a digital marketplace shares that exact same foundational concept, swapping one asset for another. But instead of trading dollars for a foreign paper currency during strict business hours, you're swapping fiat for a digital asset like Bitcoin in a marketplace that is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and is completely borderless. It takes that super familiar concept of foreign exchange and totally removes the physical friction, grounding the seemingly invisible technology of crypto into an everyday, relatable reality. So, stripping away all the intense financial jargon, what is a crypto exchange? It's simply an online marketplace or platform that connects buyers and sellers, enabling users to trade traditional money or digital coins for different digital assets. To really get why this is such a game changer, you have to look back at the early days of cryptocurrency. Before these exchanges existed, acquiring Bitcoin meant navigating incredibly complicated command line interfaces or relying on blind peer-to-peer trust on rudimentary internet forums. You were literally wiring money to a total stranger and just hoping they sent the digital coins back to you. Exchanges changed the whole shebang. They brought retail accessibility to the masses, acting as the main trusted gateway that lets everyday people actually enter the market securely.
Now that we have the historical context and know exactly what it is, let's look under the hood. Section 2, anatomy of an exchange, the core functions powering the platform.
When you break down the internal architecture of these exchanges, there are really 4 key pillars you absolutely need to understand. First, it operates entirely as a digital marketplace online, which means there's no physical trading floor. The whole thing is distributed and digital. Second, it connects buyers and sellers. This is a vital point. The platform itself isn't necessarily selling you the Bitcoin out of its own personal stash. It's facilitating your trade with someone else out there in the world by matching you on what's called an order book. That's what provides the necessary liquidity for the market to actually function smoothly. Third, it supports multiple assets. You aren't just limited to Bitcoin. These platforms list Ethereum and hundreds of other digital coins, acting like a massive supermarket of digital assets. And finally, it provides essential trading tools. Back in the day, institutional-grade charting, deep order book visibility, and real-time granular price tracking, those were reserved for fancy Wall Street terminals. Today, exchanges provide these highly advanced analytical tools directly to everyday retail investors, creating a fully self-contained ecosystem designed for sophisticated trading. So, how do you actually navigate all of this? Let's walk through the practical side of things. Section 3, 6 steps to trading, your step-by-step guide to digital asset management.
Let's move to and see how this builds into a seamless process. Imagine you're executing a trade today. Step 1, you create an account. This typically involves a Know Your Customer, or a KYC process, where you verify your identity to comply with financial regulations. Step 2, you deposit funds. This is usually done through a simple bank transfer or ACH payment to fiat on-ramp your capital. Step 3, you choose your digital currency from the exchange's available pairings. Step 4 is placing the trade, and here's where you have some choices. You can place a market order, which buys the asset instantly at whatever the current available price happens to be, or a limit order, where you set a specific price and patiently wait for the market to come to you. Then we hit Step 5, order matching. The exchange acts as a trustless clearinghouse here. Its automated matching engine pairs your buy order with a corresponding sell order in a matter of milliseconds. It guarantees the transaction and ensures absolutely neither party gets scammed. Finally, step 6, your purchased currency settles into your exchange wallet, ready for you to either store right there or withdraw to a secure external wallet.
Now, what's even more fascinating is that you don't even need a desktop computer to do any of this anymore. Let's shift our focus to Section 4, the power of mobile apps. Accessing the market straight from your smartphone.
To put it simply, a crypto exchange app is a mobile application connecting directly to an exchange platform that allows users to buy, sell, trade, and store digital currencies anytime. This shift to mobile has radically, completely democratized access to global finance. Just think about emerging markets where desktop computer ownership is relatively low, but smartphone penetration is absolutely massive. Mobile apps from platforms like Binance, Coinbase, and Bybit have allowed individuals in these regions to bypass traditional clunky banking infrastructure entirely and participate in a global, borderless financial system right from their phones.
The features on these apps go way beyond just basic interfaces. They are purpose-built for extreme on-the-go utility. You get highly optimized, super easy trading execution and real-time price tracking, which means you can monitor high-frequency market charts whether you're commuting on the train or just waiting in line for coffee. They also offer secure wallet storage baked directly within the app architecture. But, with this unmatched mobile convenience comes a very real psychological impact. You're carrying a 24/7 gateway to a highly volatile, completely awake global market right in your pocket. The ability to trade instantly requires an incredible amount of personal discipline. You really have to balance the immense convenience of these tools with the emotional fortitude needed to navigate those rapid price swings.
And actually, that need for discipline brings us perfectly to our final section, weighing risks and rewards. Let's take an impartial, totally logical look at the reality of these exchanges. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it forces us to balance the immense benefits against the inherent vulnerabilities. On the pros side, the benefits are super clear. You get incredibly easy access to trading through user-friendly apps, a massive wide variety of digital currencies, and really fast transactions with deep market liquidity. And that liquidity is exactly what makes getting in and out of position so incredibly seamless. But on the con side, we have to impartially acknowledge the trade-offs. There are inherent security risks and hacking possibilities because these centralized platforms are basically honeypots of wealth. You also have to factor in trading and withdrawal fees that will inevitably eat into your margins. There are regulatory restrictions that can change abruptly depending on where you live. And ultimately, you have a heavy dependence on the platform itself. This actually brings up a famous ethos in the crypto space: not your keys, not your coins. When you keep your assets on an exchange, you are fully entrusting them to a third party. You're giving up total self-custody in exchange for that high liquidity and convenience. It's a direct trade-off, really, between the ease of a centralized platform and the absolute need for personal vigilance.
So, the crucial point is this. While there are undeniable risks that require careful management, the exchange remains the absolute essential bridge between traditional money and the much larger digital currency ecosystem. Sure, they aren't perfect, but they are currently the unavoidable, vital infrastructure holding the traditional and digital financial worlds together. For anyone looking to enter this space, learning how these platforms function is without a doubt the most logical first step. They provide the necessary tools, eliminate the technological friction, and grant you unprecedented access to a massive global market.
The tools are clearly laid out right in front of you, and the old gatekeepers of traditional finance? Well, they're no longer the only option in town. We've seen exactly how the gateway operates, the precise steps to execute a trade, and we've weighed the nuanced balance of those risks and rewards. So the question isn't just whether you are ready to cross the bridge, but what the entire financial world is going to look like once everyone does. Keep learning, stay curious, and thank you so much for joining me on The Explainer today.